This is Avikshana kapisan Jatilan kutilan trakan Atmanam chogra tapasa Avinati chirinam Krishna Avikshana kapisan Jatilan kutilan trakan Atmanam chogra tapasa Vivrati chirinam Krishnam. Avikshana, again and again. Avagaha, by bathing. Kapisan, grey. Jatilan, matted. Kutila, curled. Alakan, hair. Atmanam, her body. Cha, and. Ugratapasa, by severe austerities. Vibrati, became. Chirinam, cloth in rags. Krisham, thin. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. She began to bathe 3 times daily, and thus her curling black hair gradually became grey. Due to austerity, her body gradually became thin, and she wore old garments. Please repeat. She began to bathe 3 times daily, and thus her curling black hair gradually became grey. Due to austerity, her body gradually became thin, and she wore old garments. Purport. It is the practice of the yogi, brahmachari, vanaprastha, sannyasi to bathe at least 3 times daily. Early in the morning, during noontime, and in the evening. These principles are strictly followed even by some grihasthas, especially brahmanas, who are elevated in spiritual consciousness. Devahuti was a king's daughter and almost a king's wife also. Although Kardama Muni was not a king, by his mystic power, he accommodated Devahuti very comfortably in a nice palace with maidservants and all opulence. But she had learned austerity even in the presence of her husband. There was no difficulty for her to be austere. Still, because her body underwent severe austerity after the departure of her husband and son, she became thin. To be fat is not very good for spiritual advancement. Rather, one should reduce, because if one becomes fat, it is impediment to progress in spiritual understanding. One should be careful not to eat too much, sleep too much, or remain in comfortable position. Voluntarily accepting some penances and difficulties, one should take less food and less sleep. These are the procedures for practicing any kinds of yoga, whether bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, or hatha yoga. Om Agyanatimirantasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitanmena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsa Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabudutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakamitam Sa. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vancha Kalpataruvyacha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivedanta. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here we continue to hear the pastimes of Lord Kapiladev and Devahuti. We have reached the point now. Kapiladev had just left Mother Devahuti after giving this transcendent knowledge of devotional service, Sankhya Yoga. So today we're hearing how Mother Devahuti is, what she is doing after she heard all this instruction. So she has, even though she is as Prabhupada mentioned in Prabhupada, that she is a daughter of the emperor of the world, she has voluntarily accepted the penances. The penances, so why it is recommended? She's voluntarily taking these penances. What's the recommendation? Why the austerity? If we consider the austerities, such as being in a freezing cold, or being in a very extreme heat, or if we look, that kind of austerity is also performed by a tree. They are also living entities. Animals, they also perform such extreme austerities. And some places in the world, there are even with austerities also. One of the austerities fasting. Some people in the world, there's famine or not able to eat. So does that consider a tapasya? No, it's not. They are put into a situation by their karmic reaction. They are put in that situation. But the penances or austerity is done in the voluntarily. It is done. Then it is it's considered a bona fide or genuine tapasya. So here Mother Devahuti is voluntarily accepting these. Another reason for the tapasya doing this voluntarily is that it gives the identity of identifying oneself with a body. Why are we doing tapasya? Because not to accept this body is an all in all. That is in tapasya. So, I'm going to put some. So, human life, we are in human life, is meant for tapasya. As we hear from in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 5th canto, Rishabh instructing his sons in austerity. Why we perform austerity? He explains it is for Brahma Sokyam Anantam. That this austerity is meant to give you Ananta means eternal or unending happiness. Brahma Sokyam Anantam. To Anantam. He instructs, Naham deho deha bhajam nirloke kastan kaman ahrate vid bhujame. Tapo divyam. Tapo divyam. This tapa is divya, is divine. Putraka ena sattvam suddhet yasmad brahma sokyam anantam. This is to purify. Suddhet means purifying. Purifying the body. That is why this, it says, the dogs and hogs, this is what they says, Bidbhuja is the word used for dog eaters. That is, so the sense gratification is available to even the dog eaters. I mean, those are eating stools, enjoying it. But that is not the purpose of human life. Human life is for tapo divyam, for austerities, meant for austerity, voluntarily taking austerities. Prabhupada, in that purport of that sloka, Prabhupada actually clearly says, the human life meant for voluntarily practicing suffering for the advancement of spiritual life. And so voluntarily is one thing also, but it is higher than that, is to offer the results of their austerity to Krishna. Offering means is to please what Krishna wants. That is even higher. That is the higher. We hear that even Lord Krishna instructing, their penances are different types, different modes, penances available. In Bhagavad Gita 17 chapter text 18, Lord Krishna describes the penances performed out of pride, for the sake of gaining respect, honor, worship is said to be in the mode of passion. So even the austerity are done in a different modes. So if the penances or austerities are performed to gain these things, it is in the mode of passion. Lord Krishna further gives in the text 19 of the Bhagavad Gita, the penances performed out of foolishness, self-torture, or to destroy or injure others, said to be in the mode of ignorance. So, the opposite of these, if the penances are performed to please the Lord and offer the results to the Lord, that is the highest. That comes to the mode of goodness. Rupa Goswami, in a Nectar of Instruction, gives further clarification. What is the austerity of the Vaishnavas or the followers of Lord Chaitanya? He instructs, very first sloka, he says, Vacho Vegam, the austerity to control the urge of speech. Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jivha Vegam Udara Upastha Vegam, Etan Vetan Yo Visayeta Dhira, Sarvam Apimam Prithivim Sasisyat. So, very first instruction is Vacho Vegam, to control the urge of speech. In Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, we hear from the second canto, I think, that if the speeches, they are not glorifying the Lord, it is called as the pilgrim for the crows. Those who go and out there just talk, yap, yap, yap. So it's given compared to the speech of the pilgrimage of a crows. Crows generally they go in a filthy place, and then all day you can hear is ka ka ka. And if you hear the multiple crows doing ka ka, it's just such an annoying sound. So that is what Śrīmad Bhāgavatam compares that. If the speeches are not glorifying the Lord, that is is considered as like a croaking of or howling of the crows. In that same purport, Prabhupada also mentions that it gives another comparison. It says it is like a croaking of a frog. Frog croaks, but what does it do? It attracts the snake. So croaking. That it's a signaling, and it's also giving a indication where the frog is. So the snake comes and eats him. So that's compared to like a death for everybody. So those who are wasted, the speeches of the not glorifying the Lord, it is compared to a frog. Further, Lord Krishna also gives a austerity of speech in Bhagavad Gita text, chapter 17 and text 15. Lord Krishna gives what is this austerity for the speech? Austerity of a speech consists of speaking word that is truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating others, and also regularly reciting Vedic literatures. Again, same thing, it's another word, it is to glorify the Lord. So this is the austerity of speech. The Lord Krishna further gives also austerity of a mind in text 16. The satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence is the austerity of the mind. So as Rupa Goswami is quoting his Vacho Vegam Manasa Krodha, he said these the urges of the. And there is also a austerity Lord Krishna explains in same chapter, text 14, of the body. The austerity for the body consists of worshipping the Supreme Lord and the Brahmanas, spiritual master, superiors like parents and father and mother, cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence. So this is the austerity Krishna is recommending for the body. This is the austerity of the body. As Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, that we shouldn't be eating too much, too fat. Similarly, Rupa Goswami again instructs in the nectar instruction, Atyahara prayaschascha prajalpo niyama graha jana sangascha laulyamcha sadvir bhakti vinashati. Atyahara. Atyahara means overeating. Atyahara also refers to collecting more than necessity. And prayasa, endeavoring, just unnecessarily endeavoring more than is required. Prajalpa again, it's the useless mundane talk. Niyamagraha. Niyamagraha has got two. Prabhupada mentions. One is not following. Other one is too much following of the instruction to the point of just on the rails of rules and regulation. That is also not recommended. So these are the austerities that is recommended by our acharyas to perform for us. and we may not be able to go in the forest and meditate for a long period or sit in the Himalayas in the cold, freezing condition. But even though you are living here, these are some of the austerities recommended by our acharyas for us to follow. So today is also the disappearance of Srila Rupa Goswami and also the Gauridas Pandit. So I thought maybe we will speak a little bit glorifying on these personalities briefly. This is auspicious on their disappearance and auspicious of the acharyas or the Vaishnavas are very auspicious for us too. It is for our purification, especially my purification. I thought of just spend the rest of the class and speaking on these two personalities. We are known as Rupanugas. Gaudiya Vaishnavas are especially given a special title as a Rupanugas. We are the followers of Rupanuga. Because Rupa Goswami is very prominent acharya in our sampradaya. Śrīmad Acharya Thakur, he's written this Siksastakam, Sada Goswami Astakam, the 8 prayers glorifying these 6 Goswamis, the prominent 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. He starts with Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghu Yugo Sri Jiva Gopalako. He first offers his respects to Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami was a younger brother of Sanatana Goswami. He was, but as a respect, because of his greatness, he offers respect to Rupa Goswami first. So, one of the prayers of the Sada Goswami Astakam, Nana Sastra Vicharanaiko Sadharma Samstapako Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhupane Manya Saranya Karo Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajanan Mattaliko Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyugo Sri Jiva Gopalako. So the translation is I offer my respectful obeisances unto 6 Goswamis, namely Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami and Jiva Goswami and Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who are very expertly scrutinizing Nana Sastra Vichara. They have scrutinizingly studied these scriptures in order to establish the Sadharma Samsthapako, to establish the principles of the religion or religious dharma. Studying the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principle for the benefit of human beings. Thus they have honored all over the 3 worlds, Tribhuvana, and they are worth taking shelter because they are absorbed in the mood of gopis and engaged in the transcendental loving service of Sri Radha and Krishna. This is the glorification that's offered one of the from that. So Rupa Goswami, as I mentioned, is the younger brother of Sanatana Goswami. There were 3 brothers: Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, and Anupam, or later it becomes Vallabha. So these Rupa Goswami, the father of Rupa Goswami was Kumar Dev. Rupa Goswami was born in Karnataka in South India. They migrated to in Jaisur, it's in Bengal, because at the time the Navadvip or the area was very well known for a scholarly Vaishnavas residing there. So it was like a hub of education for the Vaishnavas or those who want. So for this reason, the father of Rupa Goswami migrated to Jaisur first. Jaisur is in Bangladesh at the moment. So there were Saraswat Brahmins, like the highest the Brahmins. So they learned. Primarily they studied initially in the Nyaya Shastra. Nyaya Shastra basically deals with its logic, and we can call it in our contemporary. It's the social studies and politics science. It's that. So they have studied under the Vasudev Bhattacharya and his brother Madhusudan Vidya Vachaspati. They were the teachers of these three brothers. They studied together. So they became so proficient in Sanskrit, Arabic, because at the time it was ruled by a Mohammedan, or these Hussein Shah was the ruler at the time. So it's so Arabic was the known language. So they mastered these languages, and of course later on Hindi and Brajvasa and so on, multiple languages they were studied. So they mentioned Hussein Shah was the ruler at the time. Once he asked his astrologer or priest, Maulavi we call it in Delhi. So he asked, how can I prosper my kingdom? And through the astrological studies, the priest of Hussein Shah said, there are 3 Brahmins in the Jaisur. If you make them, take them into your as a courtiers, or give them, and your kingdom will prosper. So hearing this, he invites these three brothers, and he offers them a position. As Sanatana Goswami accepts the position as revenue minister or the finance minister, and Rupa Goswami accepts as the chief secretary of Hussein Shah, and Anupam, I'm not 100% sure, it's not mentioned. So these 3 brothers were engaged in the king, the court of Hussein Shah. So they even changed their name as Sakar Malik and Dabir Khash. So Dabir Khash was Rupa Goswami, and Sakar Malik was Sanatana Goswami. So even though they were serving there, because they had studied all this Vedic literature, and they had a devotional inclination. So regularly they used to invite the Vaishnavas at their home and study Śrīmad Bhāgavatam and discuss the pastimes of Krishna. Even to the point of their residence, they had replicated their residence as they have Radha Kund, Shyam Kund, Govardhan. Everything was like a replica of Vrindavan into their residential area. So they were living at the Ramkeli at that time when they were ministers. So they had sent a message. Then they know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They had sent a message to Mahaprabhu wishing to join him in his mission. Mahaprabhu sent him a message back saying, you work with the minister, as he gives an example of a wife serving a paramour in in a absence of a husband. While she's serving husband, real husband, she's also thinking of a paramour or lover. Similarly, you do your service at this point, and Krishna will make an arrangement for you to join our mission. So, Mahaprabhu wanted to travel to Vrindavan, going from Puri. So he makes, knowing this Rupa, these Goswami, the Rupa and Sanatan, they were there. So he makes a detour to comes to Ramkeli. Ramkeli is where the Rupa and these Goswamis were there. So he meets. This is the first time they're meeting in Ramkeli with Mahaprabhu, 6 Goswamis. After meeting, Mahaprabhu proceeds to Vrindavan, and Rupa and Anupam, or the Anupam, somehow made an arrangement with the Sensha. They took leave, and they wanted to join Mahaprabhu. So Rupa Goswami, all his accumulated wealth, while he was serving about approximately 20 years in his as a minister. So he divided his wealth into 3. 50% he gave for the service of deity worship, building temples and Vaishnavas and everything. He gave 50%, and he gave out of balance of 50. He divided into 2, and he gave 25% to his family members, and rest 25% he kept for in emergencies. This is an example of how the accumulated wealth should be distributed set by Rupa Goswami. Then also he left some. It says, I think it's 10,000 gold coins for Sanatan Goswami. Later on, Sanatan Goswami was, once the Rupa Goswami and Anupam left, Sanatan Goswami also wanted to join, but the Hussain Shah didn't want to leave. So he actually puts Sanatan Goswami into jail. And with this money which was left by Rupa Goswami, he manages to bribe the gatekeeper and manage to escape. That's another pastime altogether. We won't be going in detail on that. So Mahaprabhu has gone to Vrindavan, and they found out that Mahaprabhu is now in Vrindavan. So the Rupa Goswami and Anupam start traveling to Vrindavan. So on the way, Mahaprabhu had finished his pastime in Vrindavan, was returning. So Mahaprabhu has reached Banaras, and Rupa Goswami and Anupam also happened to be there at that time. This is the second time they meet. Rupa and Anupam meet Mahaprabhu. There Mahaprabhu instructs the Rupa Goswami for 10 days. And also he's on the devotion service. Primarily, Rupa Goswami was instructed on the rasas, the mellows of the devotion service, or the Radha and Krishna. So after instructing, Mahaprabhu instructs Rupa Goswami and Anupam to go to Vrindavan. To do what? To excavate and re-establish all the pastime places of Krishna in Vrindavan, and also write the literatures or scriptures in the principles of devotion service. So after they were instructed, so they go to Vrindavan, Rupa Goswami and Anupam. So he spends and he starts to write book. Rupa Goswami starts to write a book. Then again, after being in Vrindavan for some time, they go to visit Mahaprabhu in Puri for about 10 months. So again, the Rupa Goswami, it actually, when Rupa Goswami was traveling to Puri back in the second day to meet Mahaprabhu, Anupam is, he leaves his body. So Rupa Goswami travels by himself to Puri at this point. And while he was traveling, he was writing books. At that time, he was writing 2 books. A book, Vidagdha Madhav and Lalita Madhav. So he reaches this place, one place called Satyabhamapur, just before the Puri. So in a dream, he gets Satyabhama, or the wife of Queen of Vrindavan, Lord Krishna from Dwarka. She appears there and also requests. At that time, he was writing about pastimes of Krishna. So she requests Rupa Goswami to write the pastimes of Dwarka also. So he dedicates a book. So the pastimes of Vrindavan, it's a Parakya Ras, where the gopis and Srimati Radharani are in the ras is in separation. Whereas in Dwarka, it's in Swakya Bhav or Rasa, where they actually relish the transcendental, the rasa or the nectar is on the physical proximity. They are together. So there are 2 different rasa there. So Satyabhama instructs to write on the Rupa Goswami writes this Lalita Madhav, which is the pastimes in Dwarka with Krishna and his queens. And he writes another book, it's called a Vidagdha Madhav, which is for the pastimes in Vrindavan. So when he reaches Mahaprabhu in Puri, so he had drafted these 2 books. When Ramananda Rai and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu read this book, they were in tears of bliss. Such a wonderful book. And so, as I said, Rupa Goswami spends about 10 months in Puri with Mahaprabhu getting the instruction. And then Mahaprabhu again instructs him to go back to Vrindavan and continue on his mission as performing bhajan and then re-establishing all the pastime places of Vrindavan. So Rupa Goswami returns back to Vrindavan. He is now in a mission to find all the places of Krishna's pastime. While he was meditating one day in the bank of Yamuna, he gets an audience by a beautiful boy, young boy, 11 years old boy. And then he tells Baba, there is a hill, it's called Gomatila, just nearby. And I notice a cow, every day a cow goes there and pours her milk into that hill. And then this boy disappears. And Rupa Goswami goes next day and just to confirm it is true. So he saw a cow putting her milk into that hill. And again he went the next day. So like that he confirmed, yes. Then he called all the Brajvasis to see what is in there. So excavated this place. And what did they find? Deity of Govinda Dev. So these deities, actually they were worshipped, they were installed by the great grandson of Krishna's Brajanav. Govinda Dev, Madan Mohan and Gopinath. There are all many others deities also that he installed after. So in the period there was the period of Mughal, Muslim period for a long time. So the deity worships and everything was made it very difficult. In some of the places was so it was totally banned. So these deities they were hidden into different places. In the due course, they got buried into a place. So this is one of the deities was installed by Brajanath. So this Govinda Dev now appears. So Rupa Goswami installs this deity in Vrindavan. Later on, this temple of Govindaji was built by a king Mansingh, who was a disciple of Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. This temple was so big; it was 7-story high. So at that time, the ruler was Aurangzeb, whose capital was Agra, which is about 65 kilometers from Vrindavan. He was from his palace. He was able to see a temple roof, and he inquired, "What is this?" They saw him. This is the temple of Govindaji in Vrindavan. So it's very tyrant king. So he didn't like that there's a temple is higher than his palace. Mm-hmm. So he ordered to destroy this temple. So by the time this is generation, so the king of Jaipur, his name is Jai Singh, he found out that this is being plotted to destroy the temple. So he made this arrangement to move these deities of Govinda Dev to Jaipur, which is in Rajasthan. They were transported. Initially they were installed in Amber, and from Amber it was moved to where the deities are being worshipped. The Govinda Dev is the original deities of the Govinda Dev is being worshipped in Jaipur at the moment. In his palace. In fact, he built a palace in such a way that when he wakes up in the morning, that he's able to have a first darshan of Govindaji, and in this way he was constantly meditating and doing anything he was ruling that with such a devotion. They're very beautiful deities. I don't know how many have you been to Jaipur? Yeah, it's a beautiful, wonderful deities, especially the Mangala Arati. You will hear there is about 400 or 500 or 600, if not more. Devotees come every day. That's the whole city almost comes to these deities, wonderful deities. So, in this way, Rupa Goswami started to establish different places. He also found the deities of Vrinda Devi in Brahmakund, which is very close to Govindaji temple. And so in this way, they were traveling in different places in Braj. They were writing books on the devotional service. One day, he was in Nandagram, in Ter Kadam. And that's the place where Lord Krishna used to play flute and call all the cows in his forest. So he was writing books there. And Sanatan Goswami also was there in Nandagram, but in Pavan Sarovar, which is close by. So he knew that Sanatan Goswami was coming to visit him. And Rupa Goswami just desired to offer something, that my brother is coming, he's a Vaishnava, and what can I offer? There's nothing to offer. It was just simple. While he was meditating in this way, beautiful a girl comes in and said, "Baba, here I have my mother has given me these ingredients. So she has brought milk, sugar, and the ingredients for making sweet rice. And she even offered to cook it. And she said, she cooked this sweet rice and offered to Rupa Goswami. He said, please offer this to your deities and have it. And she left. When Sanatana Goswami reached and Rupa Goswami offered this sweet rice to Sanatana Goswami found, he said, this is nectarian. Of course, it's cooked by Srimati Radharani. It will be nectarian. And Sanatana Goswami said, where did you get this? Where did you get this? Who gave you? And Sanatana Goswami explained what happened. And so Rupa Goswami explained what happened. And then Sanatana Goswami said, this is not right. This was Radharani who came to offer. We as a Gaudiya Vaishnava is meant to serve Radharani, not take the service from Radharani. So they both realized, and then of course Rupa Goswami repented, and in ecstasy, they were both in ecstasy that they were able to have a prasad cooked by Radharani. So in this way, this Goswami spent many years writing the scriptures and finding the different places or pastimes, establishing them for our generation. In fact, it is mentioned as we are talking about the tapasya they were doing for this was their residence was every day a different tree. Under the different tree they were living. And they were writing these scriptures for us. The amount of the books they wrote, Rupa Goswami is mentioned is 200, and he wrote about over 250,000 verses on devotional service. So our Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is 18,000 verses altogether, the big. Rupa Goswami wrote 250,000 verses around more. And they were living, They have different books. I'll just go through some of the books that was written by Rupa Goswami. The Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, as we have heard, that is also that's Ujjvala Nilamani. It's also written by Rupa Goswami. This describes the Madhurya Ras of Vrindavan. Lagu Bhagavatamrita is also written by Rupa Goswami. This is the summary of a Sanatana Goswami's work, the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. As I mentioned earlier, it's the Bidagdha Madhava and Lalita Madhava. That's also written by Rupa Goswami. And Dana Keli Komedi is the work of Rupa Goswami. This is it deals with the pastimes that Gopis and Krishna, where Krishna used to tax them for their taking the milk and yogurt, and then he used to tax them. This is another very sweet pastimes of. So Rupa Goswami wrote, and Sri Radha Krishna Ganodesha Dipika. That is in this he lists all the characters in the pastimes of Lord Krishna and describes their characters and qualities of the associates of Krishna in Vrindavan. Mathura Mahatmya, another scripture written by Rupa Goswami, which is the conversation between Lord Varahadev and Mother Earth. Varahadev is describing the glories of Mathura, and Rupa Goswami compiled this it's called Mathura Mahatmya, the glorification of Mathura. Uddhava Sandesh is another work of Rupa Goswami. That is the message when Uddhava came from Dwarka to pacify the gopis and Radharani in Vrindavan. So he's compiled a very beautiful work on this topic. Hamsaduta is another work of Rupa Goswami. Hamsaduta is it's the message when Krishna left Vrindavan, when Radharani and gopis are feeling in separation. This swan, Lalita Sakhi meets a swan and tries to convey this message of their feeling separation through the swan. This is so it's called Hamsaduta. And so he also wrote in Krishna Janmatithi Vidhi. He's given a full description how to celebrate Janmashtami, which is coming in next few weeks. On the 15th of August. So this Rupa Goswami has written very elaborate how to actually celebrate the Janmashtami. It's called Krishna Janmatithi Vidhi. And Natak Chandrika is another work of Rupa Goswami. And Upadesamrita. This is just a few I mentioned. There's more. They have written so many bhajans also. Beautiful bhajans in Brajbhasha, in Bengali, in Sanskrit. So these acharyas have given so much for us to follow. This is a sacrifice of our acharyas. We are fortunate to be in this line to have such a wonderful path shown by our or given directions by these acharyas. This is our great fortune. As I mentioned also, today is another glorious Vaishnava's disappearance day. Is Gauridas Pandit. Gauridas Pandit is so Rupa Goswami left his final pastime in Vrindavan, and Rupa Goswami's Samadhi is there in Sri Radha Damodar Mandir temple, where Srila Prabhupada spent long time in residing in that same temple before he went to US for preaching. That's the Rupa Goswami's final Samadhi. So we will be able to have darshan. So now on Gauridas Pandit. Gauridas Pandit is in Krishna Lila, he is Subal. Amongst the gopis, just like Radharani, the Lalita Sakhi is the chief kind. So amongst the Gwalas, the cowherd boys, friends of Krishna, Subal is chief, one of the chief. So he comes in Mahaprabhu's pastime as Gauridas Pandit. Gauridas Pandit was residing in the Ambika Khalna. That is just the cross of Shantipur. Shantipur is where Advaita Acharya Thakur appeared, and that's his place. So it's the Ganges between the Shantipur and Ambika Khalna, so it's just across the other side. Gauridas Pandit and Mahaprabhu used to regularly meet, and they would spend a lot of time because Mahaprabhu so Navadvip, all that area, Shantipur, Navadvip, Mayapur, they all close proximity. So Mahaprabhu's used to regularly spend, and then the very close, intimate relationship they had with Gauridas Pandit, with Mahaprabhu. When Mahaprabhu decided to actually finalize his Navadvip pastime as a pastime of, and just about to take at the order sannyas he wants to take. At that time, just before that, they reached. They were meeting place and expressed that they want to leave Navadvip and take sannyas, and they want to go. So Gauridas Pandit, he is in such in separation, feeling separation from Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Mahaprabhu. He is requesting, please do not go, please do not go. His request was so intense that Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Mahaprabhu actually, they came back with 4 of them. So there's Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, and then they created 2 deities of the same replica of what he was. And then they requested Gauridas Pandit, so, okay, you choose which one to keep. And Mahaprabhu, of course, gave him a condition: you have to feed us well. So eventually, so Gauridas Pandit, he cooks this wonderful feast, and these now 4 personalities. There's Mahaprabhu in real, and Nityananda Prabhu in real, and then also the deities of there. So he feeds these deities. I mean, all 4 of them. Deities also eat what he has cooked by Gauridas Pandit. So such is the intensity. So eventually Mahaprabhu, they left to Puri, and these deities remained so he worshipped as real. These deities regularly, as I said, he used to feed, and then they used to eat, physically eat. The offerings made by Gauridas Pandit was such a wonderful relationship they had. So, like that, Mahaprabhu, the Gauridas Pandit worshipped this Gaura and Nityananda Prabhu in this deity form for many, many years. And Gauridas Pandit also had a disciple called Hridayananda. So one day, just before the Gaur Purnima, Gauridas Pandit had gone away for some other visits, some different pilgrimage, and he didn't return. Now the Gaur Purnima was coming very close. Just a few days left, and then the Gauridas Pandit hasn't returned, Guru Maharaj hasn't returned, so Hridayananda was saying, what do we do? Sorry? That will become later. He will change, I will tell you instead. Yeah. So this Hridayananda starts to make preparation because Maharaj has returned, so his Guru hasn't returned from his pilgrimage. Now what we do, the Gaur Purnima, or the appearance of Lord Chaitanya has come. So he takes initiative and he starts to makes preparation for this festival. So he started and invites the Vaishnavas from surrounding places. And then just before a day, I think days before or 2 days before, Gauridas Pandit returns. And he chastises Hridayananda. He says, how can you do this? You haven't taken, I'm still living, and then you make all this arrangement. So in a way, I mean, I wasn't really angry, but it was, so he said, you go and just do bhajan at the bank of Ganges. So following the instruction, Hridayananda goes to the bank of the Ganges, and while he was was sitting there, the Hridayananda meets the rich merchant comes to him and offers to makes a donation to Hridayananda. Hridayananda says, please offer this donation to Gauridas Pandit Guru Maharaj, he will use it. And Gauridas Pandit instructs the merchant to give that donation to Hridayananda. Whatever arrangement he made, he can use, and then he can celebrate at. So when he came back to Hridayananda, and then he offered this donation, and saying, this is the instruction of your Guru Maharaj, and he accepted it, and he utilized that donation to celebrate the Gaur Purnima that he was planning to offer. So, so this celebration, all the invited guests which came, and it was such a wonderful kirtan and discussion. When the kirtan was taking place this is the celebration at Ganges, with Hridayananda's place, not at the Gauridas. So these deities of Mahaprabhu, So Gangadas was another disciple of Gauridas, and he informed Gauridas that the deities are gone. So Gauridas takes a stick. So where have they gone? So he comes to find out where the Hridayananda was celebrating the Mahaprabhu's appearance, that the deities were dancing there with Hridayananda. So then, seeing the stick, Gauridas has come. Mahaprabhu and Nityananda get scared. These deities, to hide from Gauridas' anger stick, they enter into the heart of Hridayananda. Seeing this, Gauridas Pandit embraced his disciple, and he said, "You are such a wonderful Lord Himself enter into your heart. From this on today onwards, your name is Hridaya Chaitanya." This is when his name becomes a Hridaya Chaitanya. So Hridaya Chaitanya is the spiritual master of Syamananda Pandit. That is another pastime. So in this way, the Gauridas Pandit worshipped these deities. These deities actually, so as we have the deities of Vrindavan, in Vrindavan it's called Banke Vihari. There's constant curtain open and close. Similarly, at this temple, at Ambika Kalna in Gauridas Pandit's deity, they do the same thing, because these deities are known to walk away. When these devotees of such intense devotees come to pray, and these deities get excited, and excitement, they just walk to the devotees. So they have this still a process to close the curtain. It's constant, so the deities don't walk away. So at this place, Mahaprabhu had he used to cross the Ganges. One day Mahaprabhu came, and this is before this, I forgot to mention. So Mahaprabhu came and offered a oar, that the stick of rowing the boat. Mahaprabhu came and offered to Gauridas and said, "Take this oar, keep it, and go across this material existence, and take along all the living entities who wants to come." So it is said, I haven't been there, it is said that these deities who Mahaprabhu gave it to Gauridas Pandit, they are still being worshipped in Ambika Kalna in Mayapur. And there's another item that the oar Mahaprabhu gave to Gauridas also there. We can have darshan. I haven't been there, so I was just reading that. And another thing Mahaprabhu left for Gauridas was the handwritten Bhagavad Gita by Mahaprabhu, and gave it to Gauridas. That's also there, I heard. I haven't been there again. So in this way, the Gauridas Pandit was such a wonderful Vaishnava who worshipped Mahaprabhu. And towards the end of his life, when he was getting old, Mahaprabhu and Lord Chaitanya come. They used to also have a regular discussion with his deities. Mahaprabhu one day came and he said, "Oh, you're getting too old. You don't need to cook such an elaborate feast anymore." And then Gauridas Pandit said, "As you like." And he's an old man. There's a whole exchange of Rasha with the deities, and he said, "Okay, if you want to eat, okay, I won't cook." So in this way, Mahaprabhu said, "Just cook simple, whatever you can." And like that, he was worshipping these wonderful these deities of his life. And towards the end of his life, Gauridas Pandit had traveled to Vrindavan, and he's in final pastimes. He left the body in Vrindavan. I think the place is called Samira Dhira Kunj. It's close in the bank of Yamuna. I think it's called Samira. Just let me just read. Dhira Samira. Yeah, Dhir Samira Kunj in Vrindavan. It's in the Syamarai temple compound in Dhira Samira in Vrindavan. That's close to Yamuna, I think, other side. So this is where his Gauridas Pandit had finished his physical body here and entered into a pastimes back to Golok Vrindavan. That's the Gauridas Pandit. Gauridas Pandit ki jai, Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Sivangre Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, it's 9 o'clock, so I'll just ask quick questions or comments. Yes, Prabhupada.
Thank you very much for describing that. Do you want to tell us about Tere Kadam Ani? Because Tere Kadam, where Rupa Goswami used to write books, the trees and flowers used to blossom. And
Yes. In Tere Kadam, it's in close to Nandagram. This is the place where Lord Krishna used to play his flute to call. Huh?
Goes there very often.
Oh yeah. It's our regular Vaishnavas. They go there. Play his flute and called all the cows from far distant forests, because as we know, the Nanda Maharaj had 900,000 cows. Krishna knew every cow through their name. He used to call through his playing his flute. Shyamali, Dhavali, etc. So that's the place. It's called Ter Kadamba. It's Kadamba trees, and where he used to climb up on top of the tree and used to play this flute. And this is the place. Also, Rupa Goswami wrote exactly. I'm not sure the literature. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu was written in Gokul, as I read. And yeah, he spent there quite some time and did his bhajan. That's the place where Radharani came and offered the sweet rice to Rupa Goswami, as I understand. That's the little way I know. Thank you. Yes, Krishna.
As you said, how many verses Rupa Goswami wrote?
Approximately 250,000 verses Rupa Goswami wrote.
How many books did he write?
I just mentioned this. I think I mentioned about 20 books there. That's not all. He wrote quite a few books. I'm not sure exact numbers, but it's a big numbers. Not only the Sanskrit, also he's written in the bhajans in Hindi, Brajavasa, in Sanskrit, Bengali, etc. There's a lot of them. Rupa Goswami wrote 250,000. You know how many Jiva Goswami wrote? How many verses?
Whole library.
Over 450,000 verses Jiva Goswami has written. So, and Jiva Goswami is the nephew. Anupam I was mentioning, that's his son. Anupam is the father of Jiva Goswami. As I know, no, I'm not. I don't think so. I haven't heard the description of them being married. Anupam. Yeah, we know Anupam's son is Jiva Goswami, but Rupa and Sanatan, I don't know. Okay, Kantrad Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Gauridas Pandit ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.